currently. With me on the station tonight is Max Marty. He's the current Federal Riding Association president. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on a 1st of December. I know it's a busy time of year for everybody with the holidays just around the corner, but we want to get through the riding business fairly quickly here tonight so we can get on with the real good stuff, and that's meeting 3 of the federal leadership candidates that are in line to replace Jeff Clayton. So we're looking forward to having them here and hear what they have to say. So I guess we'll move on to the agenda, and I've circulated agendas at the door, and I guess only riding association members will get to vote on this. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? I'll ask for a motion to accept the agenda as printed. Bobby Stewart. Any questions, additions, errors? No? Bobby? Arlenis. Yeah. With a pencil. Thanks. Is there any other questions on the agenda or additions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, if any? And the agenda is approved. For the members too at the door, we circulated minutes from the last AGM on January 21st, 2009. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? Is there any questions or errors or omissions? Could I get somebody to move the adoption of the minutes? Pam Wolf? Could I get a seconder?
Mark Dawson. Mark Dawson.
Mark Dawson. Thanks, Mark. Are there any other questions? They're at the door. Yeah. Oh, Kathleen's got some right behind you. Okay, all those in favor of the adoption of the minutes, indicate. Opposed, if any? The minutes of the previous meeting are carried. The report from the provincial riding CFO, Norm McCaskill. Norm's not here, but I do have a report from Norm that I can deliver. I was hoping he'd be here this one. Norm sent me an email earlier today, and this is his statement. Financial statements of the Cambridge Provincial NDP Riding Association up to December 31st, 2010 were audited by Chaplin and Associated Chartered Accountants and submitted to Elections Ontario in accordance with the Election Finances Act. Those statements can be viewed on the Elections Ontario website at www.elections.on.ca or by any member of the Cambridge Provincial Riding Association by contacting the undersigned. The account balance at the start of 2011 was $2,651.37. As of November 30th, there were deposits of $3,384, this being donations and transfers from the Ontario NDP. Expenses paid from the account include $552.18 for meeting and barbecue expenses, $227.30 in bank charges, audit fees, and $5,191 in expenses related to the recent campaign. This leaves a balance of $64.89. The Cambridge riding account at provincial office has a deficit of $7,585.85. This deficit is a result of a quota assessment for the recent campaign of $10,725, of which $3,139.15 has been paid. Respectfully submitted by Norm McCaskill, Financial Officer. I guess I'll move the report on behalf of Norm. Could I get a second? Kathleen Flint. I'd like to say any questions, but Norm's not here to answer them, so I guess the questions will have to be directed to Norm. All those in favor of adopting the financial? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, the report from the provincial riding president. That would be me. Okay. Again, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank all the guests that are here, all the delegates, all the members. I'd like to give special thanks to, over the past couple of years, to the executive who really pulled together when things were needed. We did not meet as regularly as probably we could have, but when it came down to doing things, there were always people we could call on to get the work done, whether it was getting campaign offices or setting up furniture, delivering leaflets in the off-election time, making phone calls, things of that nature. And when it came down to the election, people really came through. And we ran a really world-class provincial election this past fall. I'd like to give special thanks to those volunteers who came out during the election, because that was when the real work happened. We had people delivering leaflets, knocking on doors, staff in the office, putting up signs night and day. I might add that I know there were a couple midnight campaign sign runs. And I'd like to thank those who participated in helping out. Our office staff, special thank you to Donna Reed, who's not here tonight, but did a great job as campaign manager. And I know Anna Nuki's going to be here a little bit later, and I wish she was here. She did a sensational job and did the Cambridge NDP very proud, running as a candidate here. And I was really glad that she took the percentage of the vote from here to here. And congratulations to that. And we do want to keep things fairly brief, so I'm going to cut my remarks short, but I won't be seeking re-election as president. Somebody else will, but I just wanted to say thank you to the past executive for supporting me for the number of years, and I can't even remember how long I've been the president now, but I think it's getting close to a decade. And I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for their support. I will be remaining on in another capacity, and I guess it's not election year, but please support me for vice president. I want to work with the new president. I want to stay involved, but I think we need some fresh enthusiasm, and the new president, I hope, can bring that, set up the meetings, maybe work on the membership drives, things that I feel like just as of late I haven't had time to do. But I really think that we've got some good new people that want to get on board, and I encourage them to stay involved, and we're going to take it to the next level, and we're going to bring Cambridge back eventually And at this point, I guess I will turn it over to Derek Ferguson. Derek, do you have a provincial financial report?
This is the financial report as of October 31st, 2011 for the Cambridge NDP February. The balance brought forward from September was $729.69. Deposits are $1,000, which was the transfer from the federal party for the candidate nomination deposit in the federal election. Leaves us a balance as of October the 31st of $1,718.89. This financial report we accept as read.
Okay, can I get a second there? Kim Dahlia. Is there any questions for Derek's financial report? Okay.
Should we do that in scheme
The question was there, can we do the in and out scheme of the Conservative use? I think we all know the answer to that would be, we're not done. Excellent. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the federal financial report? All those opposed? It's carried. I'll turn it over to Max now as the federal president.
Can you hear me? Too bad. Welcome to our 2011 general meeting, our first general meeting as members of the official opposition for Canada. I'm going to keep my comments brief as well because I've just been informed that all these people didn't come here to listen to me speak. We did not have an AGM in 2010, as last year we had the threat of a federal election looming for much of the year, right up until the call ultimately took place in March. Meanwhile, we had municipal elections in 2010, in which several of our riding activists were directly involved. And finally, we had the provincial election to prepare for. So 3 elections in the span of 1 year. And since the last AGM, the Riding Association has been involved almost exclusively with election planning and election readiness. But I'm very proud of what we have been able to accomplish in Cambridge. We were able to raise money before the federal campaign so that we were able to run a better funded campaign in 2011 than we did in 2008. And we even managed to finish with a small surplus. And we were able to offer volunteers and candidates workshops both locally and in Toronto leading up to the various campaigns. Individually, some of us were able to assist municipal candidates during their elections, and we saw some very positive outcomes on municipal election night. Pam Wolf and Gary Price were re-elected to City Hall, and they were joined by newly elected councillor for North Hessler, Donna Reed. As well, we were pleased to see Colin Harrington re-elected at the Public School Board. For the federal election, we had a contested nomination between two good nominees, and from that contest, Susan Galveo advanced to the federal election. She battled tenaciously and with a positive message, and for her efforts, she brought home the best result for a Cambridge federal NDP candidate in 23 years. Sadly, our party and our country lost a hero, a great Canadian this summer when Jack Layton lost his battle with cancer. I'm convinced that Jack Layton would have become Prime Minister if he were still here to lead us into the next election. We may never ever see the likes of him again in public life, but we as a party, we're regrouping and we're getting ready to select our next leader who will continue fighting where Jack left off and will take us where Jack would have taken us to form the first national NDP government in Canada. I'm the first NDP MP for Cambridge since 1979. And I am proud of what we've accomplished together during my time as president. And my proudest moment is tonight as I look at this event with the leadership candidates spending time with us tonight and members of Canada's governing party in waiting coming here to Cambridge. The future of this riding looks very bright, and we have maybe 4 years to prepare for the next victory. So I feel honored to have been your federal riding president since 2007, and I'm confident that the next president will recognize there is a very positive situation to build on in this riding.
Currently,
Protests to rally against the Conservative government and their $226 million in proposed budget clawbacks targeting Veterans Affairs. The veterans worry that these cuts to the department will substantially affect their benefits. Tonight, our member, Mark Dawson, has asked for an opportunity to speak to this item. So I'm going to ask Mark to come up here.
Good evening, fellow NDPers. Recently, at a Royal Canadian Legion meeting that I attended, there was a discussion about the budget cutbacks facing Veterans Affairs Canada. I was shocked and appalled that our government would consider cutbacks to what I believe is a very important part of the Canadian heritage. How could they be so callous as to take away from those that served our country, not to mention the loss of employment of up to 800 people? Veterans Affairs Canada plans to cut more than $226 million from its budget, in what is expected to be the first wave of reductions in the department according to federal documents. The Department Plans and Priorities Report, which lays out the spending up to 2014, shows compensation and financial support for ex-soldiers to see the biggest reduction. The reduction in planned spending indicated in the report on plans and priorities is due to the anticipated reduction in program uptake. The reduction is related to the sad reality that the number of World War II and Korean veterans and survivors of the traditional vets is declining. The department's budget is roughly $3.5 billion a year, but like other arms of the federal government, BAC is looking to save beyond the planned reduction. The government's current program review wants to see existing spending in all departments and agencies slashed by 5 to 10%. These program cuts are not acceptable. Even if there are fewer traditional veterans, they are not taking into account the number of honor soldiers who will need the services. The most recent quarterly report from the Treasury Board, which tracks the federal budget, backs this up. It shows compensation and financial support to veterans in the current budget year is running about 7% over what the department expected. Cody Taylor, Director of Communications Office of the Minister of Veterans Affairs, says that if there is a shortfall in the future, the department will ask the federal government to top it up. However, what the former Veterans Ombudsman Pat Strobin commented about last year was the reluctance of senior bureaucrats to ask the federal government for more money. BAC Minister Mr. Blaney recently acknowledged the need to cut expenses, but insisted former soldiers would not feel the impact and that the reduction will come from unspecified elimination of red tape. So what exactly is this red tape? Canadian Veterans Affairs Department is expected to get smaller by 500 jobs over the next few years. Keith Hillier, the department's Assistant Deputy Minister of Services, told the All-Party Veterans Affairs Committee that the job reduction will be implemented as painlessly as possible. There was a report last month out of Charlottetown, where the bulk of the department is located, that as many as 800 jobs could be lost out of a total workforce of 2,200 people. This is not acceptable. This testimony provides official confirmation of the workforce reduction. Over the next 5 years, there will be a transformation of Veterans Affairs, and at the end of the day, it will be a smaller department. If these reductions are being made to staff rather than the core programs, it's likely that veterans will be waiting longer for checks and assistance from the government. Hillier testified that more services can be delivered over the internet. That is fine, but most senior veterans may not use the internet and would prefer the one-on-one interaction with Veterans Affairs. What I want for us to do now is voice our opinions by signing this petition and telling our government to adopt the policies that Great Britain and the United States are choosing to leave the Veterans Affairs exempt from their budget cutbacks. If you would prefer to leave me your email address, I can send you an email petition which you can send to your friends and copy to Steve Blaney, Veterans Affairs Minister. In conclusion, it is time that our federal leadership owned up to the moral debt they owe the veterans and families. The government of Canada can pay down its financial debt, it just takes time to do it. It should not come at the expense of our veterans or job loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Now, on March 23rd and 24th, the whole country will be watching as New Democrats come together in Toronto to choose our new leader. It will be an historic moment for the Democrats and for Canada, and the riding of Cambridge will be allotted 4 credentials to send our own local delegates. Delegate credentials will help to greatly reduce the cost of attending this historic convention. If you're interested in attending this convention as a delegate for Cambridge and would like more information, please see me at the end of this meeting. I'll turn it over to Frank.
Thank you, Max, and thank you, Mark, for your words as well. Okay, now comes the part of the evening, the excitement where we're going to get on with the elections of the new riding association. So I'm going to make a motion that we dissolve the current riding association. Could I get a second? Pam Wolf. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? None is carried. I'm going to invite Mark Cairns and Lauren Bruce to the stage. They're from the Kitchener-Conestoga riding, and I believe Mark's going to take care of our provincial riding association elections and nominations, and Lauren's going to take care of the federal. So, Mark,
hello, everybody.
Hey, Mark.
Who's ready for some politics? Oh, we got leadership candidates here. This room's really quiet. Okay, so let's just get right into this because we got other things planned for later in the evening. Can I get a nomination for president of the Provincial Riding Association?
I would like to nominate Archduke Van Bullet.
Okay, do you have a letter for me?
Archduke was supposed to be here, and I don't have written notice. So let's go on to VP.
Okay.
If that's okay with everybody.
Yeah,
because I do
we'll
expect
come back to it. Hope that she comes here then. Okay. Can I? Are there any other nominations for president? Are there any other nominations for president? Third and final call. Okay. Seeing none, we're going to leave that vacant for a little while. Can I get a nomination for vice president, please? Okay.
I nominate Frank Canoe.
Frank Canoe. Are there? Are there any other nominations for vice president? Are there, third and final call, are there any other nominations for president? Okay, Frank. Or, sorry, vice president. Frank, you wish to stand?
I'll stand, but thanks for my comment.
Okay, Frank Canoe is acclaimed. Can I get a nomination for treasurer, please? Cameron Adams. Are there any other nominations for treasurer of the Provincial Riding Association? Third and final time, are there any other nominations for treasurer of the Provincial Riding Association? Seeing none, Cameron, can you stand? Okay, Cameron is acclaimed. Someone has just walked in the door, so we're going to go back up to the top of the list here. Can I get a nomination for president of the Provincial Riding Association, please? Bobby.
Nomination for president.
Now you do it.
Thanks, here. Oh, I would like to nominate Antonuki Van Colen for president of Provincial.
Are there any other nominations? Third and final time, any other nominations? Antonuki, do you wish to stand for president?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Antonuki is acclaimed. Okay, back on schedule. I need a nomination for recording secretary of the Provincial Riding Association.
I'd like to nominate Ed White.
Ed White. Okay. Are there any other nominations for recording secretary? Third and final call. Any other nominations for recording secretary of the Provincial Riding Association? Seeing none, Ed.
And we have written notice and
Yeah,
like
written notice.
yes.
Ed is acclaimed. Okay, moving on. Can I get a nomination for membership secretary? Okay.
Nominate Max Lombardi.
Lombardi. Are there any other nominations for membership secretary? Third and final time, do I have any other nominations for membership secretary? Seeing none, Max. Sam? Max is acclaimed. Easy. Youth rep. Can I get a nomination for youth rep? Sorry, I didn't think we could. Michelle Goodrich. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Ma'am.
I nominate Christian Wolf.
Christian Wolf. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Third and final time, are there any other nominations for youth rep of the Riding Association? Okay, seeing none. Michelle, do you stand?
Yes.
Okay. Christian.
We have written notice.
Written notice. Okay, so we're gonna have an election. Do candidates come up? Read a letter? Or are we just gonna go? They don't get to plead their case. Okay.
I could get back there.
Okay, yeah. Do that. Come on, Michelle.
I can start by saying I'm prejudiced because Christian's my son. But he's worked hard for the NDP, obviously forced to since he's my son, but from the age of 5. But in our federal election, he was the office manager. He worked very hard on behalf of Susie Gelb and put 100%. In this last election, he did a lot of signs for Tanuki and worked very hard, except until he was called away for business. And right now, he's in Barrie tonight working, so that's why he's not here. So,
Hi, I'm Michelle Goodrich. I've lived in Cambridge for a short time. It's been 4 years now. I'm interested in being the youth rep as I'd like to get more involved in politics and perhaps make a career out of it. I graduated at the University of Waterloo where I participated in politics there, both campus politics and NDP, as well at the University of Western Ontario where I got my master's degree. I didn't volunteer and do all the wonderful things that everyone did, but I would love to have a shot at it. So.
Okay, those of you who are members in good standing in the Cambridge Riding Association that received ballots, please indicate your choice on the ballot. On the red ballot, first page there. And someone will turn around to the left.
Protest.
In the last category here. We'll put it on the website. Nominations for provincial council. Put a link on the website. The provincial council delegate is sent to provincial council 3 times a year to represent Cambridge to our Ontario NDP council that decides on policy and positions on various issues and networks with members of the party from across Ontario and represents Cambridge. So I need a nomination for 1 male and 1 female provincial council delegate. Do you have any nominations? Bobby?
I'd like to nominate Michelle Goodrich.
Michelle Goodrich. All right, do I have any other nominations for female delegates to provincial council or a male delegate? Anyone?
What's your male right now?
Sure, go Bobby.
Nominate Max Lombardi.
Max Lombardi. Okay, are there any other nominations? Third and final time, are there any other nominations for male and female provincial council delegates? Seeing none, Michelle, do you choose to stand?
Yeah.
Thank you. Max? Thank you. Max and Michelle.
Are there any other ballots for the youth rep? No more ballots for youth rep?
Okay, so last category. Do I have any nominations for members at large? This is a position that has no assigned role. What?
Women's rep.
It's not on. It's not on my list. Okay, so I need a nomination for women's rep that I want to vote. Okay.
I nominate Bobby Stewart.
Bobby Stewart. Are there any other nominations? Third and final call. Are there any other nominations for women's rep for the Provincial Riding Association? Seeing none, Bobby, do you stand?
Yes, I nominate.
Okay, moving on. Can I get any nominations for members at large for the Cambridge Riding Association? Provincial.
Mark, I have a favor. We do have several, as you know, we've done recruiting, so this is why it's going so quickly. I do have a whole group of people that have expressed interest. May I just nominate them?
How does everyone feel about that? Not exactly
It will be
proper.
faster. Okay? I would like to nominate Josie and Elise. I say that right? Ann Wolf, Arlene Robertson, Michelle Goodrich, and Susan Silva.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, I have 2 more. Joe Silva. This is awesome, we have a lot of interest here. Tony Malvar. And Shannon Atchett.
Okay, I need that list. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Third and final call, are there any other nominations for members at large? Okay, seeing none, Josie? Where's Josie? Rick. Okay. Pam? Arlene Robinson? You accept? Okay, Michelle? Oh, wait, we're still waiting.
She's already provincial delegate.
Well, she's also,
Yeah.
Okay,
I might have a result here.
3 things.
Susan Silva? Okay. Joe Silva?
Yes.
Okay. Tony Malvar?
Yep,
You accept?
I do.
Okay, and Shannon? Shade? Sure. Yep. Okay, congratulations, you're all acclaimed. And with that, I have one more thing to say.
Except for you, Rob.
Okay. Without any further ado, your winner of the heated contest of youth rep. Michelle, congratulations. Before we get off the stage here, can I get a motion to destroy these ballots?
Yes.
Seconded? Okay, thank you. You're up, Lawrence.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening, friends, and thank you for inviting me to your AGM. This is a good example of NDP regional cooperation. I'd like to give a special shout out to representatives of Kitchener Centre, Kitchener Waterloo, and of course Mark Meyer here, Kitchener Conestoga. You know what, we're all here together, and it's a good thing. So, moving along quickly, I'll get right into the federal riding executive meeting, or elections. And I have a nomination for president.
I nominate Bobby Stewart.
Are there any other nominations? I know Mark says third call, I'll say last call. Bobby, would you like to stand?
I will, with thanks to my nominee.
Okay, Bobby, you are away. Nominations for vice president. Second call for nominations for vice president.
I nominate Susan Galvin.
Third call for nominations for vice president. Seeing none. Last call for nominations for vice president. Okay, so Derek, you stand. Gary, sorry.
Gary, do you stand?
Standing.
And Susan, I haven't seen her.
We have written request for Susan.
Yes. Saying yes. So we have an election for vice president.
Orange ballot, everybody?
So we have some orange ballots, which we're going to ask Peter again to take care of that.
Oh, sorry. Should Gary speak?
Well, absolutely. If,
Gary, speak.
Gary, would you like the opportunity to speak to the delegation? From back there or on the mic, whatever you're comfortable with.
After the whole campaign,
Thank you.
Gary.
Where's the ballot box? Peter?
Peter,
I got the ballot
I
box.
need you. Okay.
Peter, your glasses there. What color was that again, Frank?
Orange ballot.
Orange ballot.
Orange ballot.
So in the interest of time, because I see we're running a little behind, we'll, I'll keep moving forward here. So if I could ask for nominations for treasurer. Yeah. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Seeing none, I call for last call. Any nominations for treasurer? Okay, nominations closed. Cam? Well, moving forward, nominations for recording secretary. Cam, do you have a second nomination? Anybody else? Third nomination? Max? He accepts?
Are there any more ballots for VP? Last call for ballots for Vice President.
Okay.
1 second. Hold on.
Okay, so Peter's going to work the room. One more comment.
One more.
So if I can ask for nominations for youth rep?
I nominate Christine Wolf.
Is there a second nomination? Third call, last call? Closed. And conversation with Christian? Yep. Good. Next election is for a women's rep.
Nominate Kathleen Flynn.
Going forward for second nominations. Third call, last call. Kathleen. I apologize for moving quickly, but I see the back of the room filling up. Did well.
When you get to Adler,
Okay. I always look for help and support. So, next point. Members at large.
if the group would indulge, I do have the have a list of people who expressed interest.
Okay.
Josie Elise, Ann Wolf, Christian Wolf, Arlene Robertson, Susan Silva, Joe Silva, John Newton, and Gary Chisholm. Say that again? Oh, you can't do that? Well, you don't really.
Well, I guess
Well, see, I guess we don't. No, you're right, we don't. Do we have the results of the VP?
Peter?
Yes, yes, it might.
Peter Thurley, your federal candidate for Fisher Center. Your successful candidate is Gary Chisholm. Can I have a motion to destroy the ballots?
Yes, please.
Bobby? Thank you.
All right, so we were at Josie, Pam, Arlene, Susan, I would like Susan Galveo, I would like to nominate her as well on this list. Jean's got it all? Yep. And we need John Newton. We can put her on. Michelle Goodrich as well. The other thing is you need to know, you probably know this, we need to have gender equality. We need to have at least as many women as men, and we're very fortunate, so we've done very well.
Derek, you're out of your name pool.
Yeah.
Frank and Gary.
Sweet. Shane Bell is good.
Excuse my writing, I should have maybe got a teacher or former teacher up here.
So I'll just go one by one. Josie, in the last category. Van Wolf,
Yes.
Arlene Robertson, Susan Silva,
In writing, you have it.
Ready?
Joe.
Joe Silva,
In writing.
Susan Galveo,
Ready.
John Newton, and Michelle.
Yeah.
Yes?
And Kim Miller.
And Kim Billy. It looks like we have gender parity.
Yes, well over.
It's well over. So that's a good thing. So they're all good to go. President, to fill any positions as necessary until the next AGM. Somebody to second that motion? All those in favor? It's carried. Again, thank you very much for inviting me. I would be remiss not to take this opportunity to speak to you. I'm going to keep it very short because we have our big group in the back. My friends, as we continue to grow our party within the region, remember that although at times it may be challenging, it is also a very, very exciting time for us. We NDPers are a government in waiting for the first time in Canadian history. Tonight gives us locally the opportunity to see the depth and talent of our leadership contenders And I think it speaks volumes about the future of our party. To finish up, I'd just like to say I look forward to working with you, and together we will not, I repeat, we will not let them tell us that it can't be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lauren and Mark, for taking care of the elections for us. I guess I'd like to welcome all the new executive and look forward to working with you all as we move forward towards the next elections and taking back not only Cambridge, but taking government, both provincial and national.